Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Jason, man, you built a nice little career with bare knuckle. You know what I mean? You started with the boxing, now you're in the MMA version of it. What do you think of Gamebred just overall and like what they're doing in the game right now?
Man, I think they're the next big thing. You can clearly see all the talent that's coming to it, and it's not just a bunch of guys that are past their prime or anything like that. There's a lot of real guys that are still very very talented and can compete at the highest level, and they're taking on this challenge to see you know what the bare knuckles like. It's fighting in its rawest form, if you ask me. It's the real deal, and I think that the sky's the limit for this promotion.
Do you feel like there's no such thing as point fighting in Gamebred?
Yeah, no, there's no chance to win a fight by the point system. I don't think that that's a smart move for anyone, because you're getting cut constantly. Every time that you get hit, it's a chance to get cut, and most of the people who are coming out there, they're looking for blood.
Yeah, and people always say like the elbows are the ones that cut the most, right? But it seems like the punches, man, that those are the ones that cut. I think there's a misconception with that, right?
Man, I mean, you can't place the elbow perfectly every time. But those knuckles, it doesn't matter how you place them, they're gonna cut. If you hit a bone one time, if I hit that cheekbone or the brim of the nose, the lip, stuff like that, cuts are gonna happen. It's a guarantee. The only way to not get cut in bare knuckle is to not get hit very many times. You might luck up and the punch just graze you or whatever, but if good solid connection happens, most likely you're getting cut. Especially if you're a guy like me I've got scar tissue out of this world, so chances are every time I do a bare knuckle fight, I'm gonna come out looking like I just fought a Wolverine or something.
When you just go around town or when you just go around wherever you're at and you run into people that don't know who you are and they see your face, they do you get some looks?
Yeah, yeah, like if I'm cut up for sure, man. But it's hard to go anywhere around Mississippi, around here, without people actually knowing who I am. Because a lot of the times, just some random stranger's like, "Man, you're Jason Knight." Yeah, that's me. Yeah,
How does it feel, man, to be like to that level of like fame? You know what I mean? Especially for where you're from, because you get the love from the people, like your people.
yeah, man. It's pretty awesome. I started this shit out as like a 14-year-old kid, just trying to have fun and stay out of trouble and keep myself out of street fights. And it's I've came a very very long way since then. I've got people in different countries that are fans of Jason Knight. That's something I never was trying to do. Definitely never thought it was going to happen. And then I've got people all over the world, several different countries that hit me up on Instagram. What's up, man? I'm a big fan, stuff like that. And it's an awesome thing to know that I did that. I put in the hard work. I made that happen for myself. And I'm not just the biggest superstar in the world or nothing like that, but I never was shooting for that. I was just a young kid trying to stay out of trouble and have some fun, punching people in the face.
How's your, lifestyle now? You know what I mean? Like what's usually your daily routine for yourself?
Man, I get up 5:30 every morning. I go to work. I get off work. I come home and I chill with my old lady. And if I got a fight coming up, I go to the gym. So right now, I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I get off at 4:30 in the afternoon, and get here, take a quick shower, hop in the car, drive like 35 minutes to the gym. I get out, you know, I'm there at 5:30. I train from 5:30 to about 8:30, and wake up or come home, cook something for dinner, get a quick shower, get my ass in the bed, watch a few minutes of TV, go to sleep, do it all over again.
Phenomenal routine. Training for a bare knuckle MMA fight. What are the differences? Let's say compared to you when you fought in the UFC.
Really, I do nothing different.
Hmm.
I make sure I got good cardio. I make sure that my jujitsu's sharp. I make sure that my stand up's sharp. Make sure that my wrestling's up to par, and go out there and fight. I fought bare knuckle for years and years before I ever even started training MMA. I've gotten way more street fights than I've ever been in, cage fights or MMA fights, and it ain't nothing but a thing to me. I knew what that sting felt like of those knuckles on my face before my first ever, sanctioned bare knuckle fight. Uh, I knew what the sting of those cuts felt like before I ever got there. So it was just same old stuff. I've broken both my hands multiple times, and never once have I broken them in an actual MMA fight. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the bare knuckle MMA. They allow you to wrap your hand. You got to stop 1 inch from the knuckles,
Hmm.
but it protects all those little bones in your hand. And like a lot of people try to say that they train to throw the punches softer. They train to aim for the soft spots of the face and stuff like that. But man, I'm just not built that way. If I'm gonna punch you, I'm gonna punch you as hard as I can. I might be aiming for your chin, but I might punch you in the forehead. If it hurts, oh well. My hand will hurt tomorrow. Tonight, we're trying to get this win.
For sure. And November 15th, you're gonna return in Mississippi. Joshua Weems, a sick matchup, man. Like, what do you think of him and his style of fighting?
Man, honestly, I think that he's going to be a tough, gritty game opponent for sure. Uh, if I don't show up in phenomenal shape, then he has the gas tank to really wear me out. I believe that within the first minute of the fight, I'm going to hit him with a punch, a kick, something. I'm going to hit him with something that instills a little bit of fear in him. And then as soon as I put that little bit of fear in him, he's going to start shooting for takedowns. And that's just the Josh Weems that I've seen in the past. If he gets cracked one time, he's going for a takedown. And he's going to go for a takedown after takedown after takedown. He's going to be relentless with it. And I'm going to make sure that I'm prepared for every bit of that. I just think that you know, experience wise, I have way more experience than he does. But skill wise, he's right there with me. As far as his wrestling, I believe I got a better jiu-jitsu game than he does. I believe I have a better striking game than he does. And I know for a fact that there's no man in this world that's tougher than Jason Knight. So I'm gonna, put him in the fight for a long ride. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna put him away or anything like that. I do believe it's gonna be a tough ass fight, but I believe that no matter what, I'm coming out with my hand raised.
What'd you think of his last fight against TJ Brown?
It wasn't all that impressive, man. He wasn't engaging like he should have. He wasn't the Josh Weems that I seen. He was a little too standoffish. And that when was that fight? Was that fight last? No, that was. I didn't watch that fight. I'm sorry. He fought last November whenever I fought. That fight, he was like he couldn't get it together that night. The opponent was using his range very well and keeping Josh, just out of range to really do anything, get anything started. And that's kind of my game plan. I'm gonna keep him at my perfect range and shut his range down.
Yeah, he's been submitted the last two times he's fought for Gamebred. And when you look at the jiu-jitsu, aspect of this fight, how does it impact not, having the gloves and like being able to grip with your hands and kind of squeezing your hands through like small positions?
Yeah, that's definitely a big, big plus. But the way I look at it is every day that I train jujitsu, I never train with gloves on.
Mhm.
Being able to slip those hands in, in for the chokes and stuff like that. And I definitely think that helps. The only downside to it is, whenever you go for an arm bar or, certain things where you like to control the wrist, it makes it a little harder. But at the same time, you still have that wrap there that gives you a little bit of a hold. Um, but honestly, I think that on the ground, um, he's not up to par with me in my opinion. Not saying that he's not tough and not saying that he's just going to be easy to beat on the ground or anything, but I think if he's on top of me, I submit him from guard. I think if I'm on top of him, I take his back, I submit him with a rear naked choke. I think if I'm stuck under him and I can't submit him with guard, I'm going to heel hook him. Just simple as that. I've got several different tools in the shed, and I'm gonna pull them all out on November the 15th.
Are they gonna allow 12 to 6 elbows? Because I've in November they changed the rules.
I know that in Mississippi, that's legal in
Mhm,
Mississippi, but throughout the years, most of the promotions have kind of like frowned upon it and tell you that they don't want you to do it, and a lot of the times, commission will tell you they don't want you to do it.
mhm,
But I don't know, if they allow that, I am game for it. I'm not scared of. The way I look at it is like this. Uh, I've been in a bunch of street fights. I've had
mhm,
people try to, stomp my head in the ground. I've had people grab my nuts. I've had people eye gouge, all that good stuff, bite me, and I've done it right back. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? You 12 to 6 elbow me, I'm gonna 12 to 6 elbow you. You stomp my face, I'm gonna try to stomp your face. I headbutt me, I'm gonna headbutt you back. That none of it scares me. I'm ready for whatever.
Yeah, you've been around for a long time, but you're still only 32, man. You're like in prime age, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like,
The thing is, man, I made it. I made it to the UFC. I was 23,
mm,
and I went from being this broke kid with no money to all of a sudden they're dropping $50,000 bonuses in my bank
mm,
account. So I just went to partying and having too much fun and stuff like that. You learn lessons and
mm.
lessons at a younger age, and you have time to correct them. Yeah, and I believe that if I really want to make a run for this, I have to get to a point to where I'm financially stable enough to not have to work every day because me waking up at 5:30 in the morning, going to the gym already tired and sore from work, because I work a demanding job. I'm a what you would call a structural fitter. I build different shit out of metal.
Mm,
I tote around heavy ass metal all day, and I'm in the heat 90% of the times. Like I'm working in a big metal building, so if it's burning up outside, I'm burning up, sweating my ass off. If it's freezing outside, I'm freezing to death. And going from that straight directly from there to the gym, it's rough on the body, man. After
yeah.
after about 4 days of the week, you just want to lay down and take a nap, and there ain't no time for that.
Man, I could see you like, with the stomps, the kicks, and all that. I could see you fighting in Japan, man. I think Ryzen needs to give you a call, and because they allow that.
I would fight in pride, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm down with all that type of shit. The
Yeah.
pride rules back in the day, I love.
Mhm. And going back to the UFC stuff, you fought Dan Hooker back in the day. Now he's back in title contention. Isn't it pretty wild? That was like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, bro, and I pieced him up. I beat his ass. Yeah, and the thing is, man, I never really I never really lost it. I just I never I never did put in the work like I was supposed to. I never, while I was in the UFC those few years, that was the only time in my life that I had the means to really push like I was supposed to. But I had I had a wife at the time that, she was down to party all the time, had friends that were down to party all the time, and everybody's encouraging, that lifestyle instead of, hey, you got to get your ass up and go to the gym. Stop drinking beer for the next month and a half. You got a fight coming up, stuff like that. And then everybody was, trying to keep the party going and stuff, trying to have fun. I was just blowing through money, and next thing you know, I would be running low on money. I'd still have $15,000 in the bank, but I'm like, oh man, they asked me to fight in 2 weeks. I haven't been training like I'm supposed to. I'm not ready, but I kind of could use the money. I need the money, so hell yeah, let's take a fight. And that's why I went on a 4 fight skid. I took a couple short notice fights. And out of the four that I lost, I felt like two of them I should have got the decision, but shit happens. And then as soon as I got cut from the UFC, I could have, started fighting on local shows trying to make my way back. But then the BKFC called. They're offering big money to fight Artem Lobov. I was like, hell yeah. I've watched Artem fight in the UFC before. I felt like I would smash his ass. And I thought it was going to be an easy fight. But man, he talked so much trash. I talked so much trash. By the time we got to that first fight, I was ready to rip his head off, and I didn't never think of how to do it. I had all the skills to do it, but I was just trying to, show him that I was tougher than he was. But he's pretty damn tough.
Yeah, you guys both are, man. But hey, like I said, you're 32 years old, man. You still got a bunch of years left. Hopefully, you make your way to another big promotion. But you got this Gamebred fight coming up November 15th. Thank you, Jason, man, for always taking the time. We've talked when you were in the UFC. It's crazy to talk to you. You're only 32.
Yeah, man. The way I'm looking at it is like this. If I make a decent little run till I'm like 35 max, I think I'm good. I've been fighting since I was 14 years old. So as of right now, I've been fighting for 18 years. And if I haven't really just got on top of the world making millions of dollars by the time I'm 35, then I'm going to hang it up, because I'm not going to be one of those guys who's 40 still out there chasing a dream. I have lived every dream that I could think of. I've fought in the UFC, fought in BKFC, fought in PFL. I fought for the Ultimate Fighter, fighting for Gamebred. I fought in several major organizations, and I fought all over the world. So I've done more than I ever thought I was going to. So I'm good with it.